For the next topic, we're going to work on the target spotlights. So I'm going to go ahead and open up 04 downlights.max file, and this will be what we will see here. And as you can see, with the addition of more and more light sources here, the scene is going to get more and more complicated this way. So it will then become quite important for us to be able to select and hide away the light source that we are not going to be dealing with at this point down here. Alright, so things will become at least more manageable for the scene itself. So what is going to happen is I'm going to click on the select by name function here, and I'm going to select all these light sources down here at this point. And we're going to click OK and right click to hide the selection away like this before we can carry on the work. So inside the left view itself, we're going to go to the left view, and then we're going to go to create and go to lights, and then look for standard, and then we will click on target spot here. Alright, the creation of light needs to be on a vertical view, as in the elevational view itself. So again, we will just click and drag to create the light here. It doesn't matter when it comes to the precision, because later on we are going to use the move command and keying in the locations to make it very, very precise. Alright, so once we created this already, we are going to key in. We're going to use the move command and right click to call out the move transform type in here, and we're going to key in these following values here. So it is important that we know what we are selecting, and we are selecting the correct item. So we are going to click on the light source first here. Alright, and before we forget, we're going to rename this one first, okay? We're going to select this one, this light source now, and rename it as BR4 downlight 01. Okay, and then begin to key in the coordinates here. 513464. So 513464. And then the y-axis would be 1103, and then the z-axis itself will be 3098 here. Alright, and then next we will select the light target itself here, and we will key in 513464, enter, 1103 for the y-axis, and then for the z-axis will be minus 281, so negative 281 here. You will notice that the target exceeds the ground plane a little bit. Now the purpose of doing this is so that it will be easier for us to select or make changes if necessary, or to be able to select the light source by clicking on. It will make it easier for us to select the light sources later on when the scene gets more and more complicated. So again, I want to be preventing error selections. So again, we're going to click on under the selection filter and filter only the lights here. So as you can see, a new light source has been created here already, down at this point. Okay. Next, we will go on to this configuration table here to configure this first downlight. Again, we're going to select the light source here and go to Modify tab, and then under the general parameters here, we need to make sure that this is on and spot targeted, on spot targeted, and then we will make sure this one has shadow maps on, shadow maps on. Then we collapse this, and then we move on next here to color intensity color attenuation to set the multiplier as 1 first. So the multiplier is set at 1, and then we click on the color here to change the light color here. So it will be 255, 224, 171, 255, 224, and 171. Enter. OK. So usually spotlights are a little bit yellowish and off-white. So that's why we choose this color. So again, here we will set the decay to none at this point, but we let it start at 1500. And down here we will use and show the far attenuation starting at 1600 to 4000. So we would use and show starting at 1600 to 4000 here. Next will be the spotlight parameters here, down here. Alright, we will configure the hotspot to be at 45. 45, this is in degrees, so 45 degrees, and then the fall off view here would be 160 degrees. So the width here would decide the angle of the hotspot beam of a spotlight. Okay, and under the advanced effects, we just need to make sure the setting is correct down here, which is by default. So under the shadow parameters here, we would click on the color here, shadow color, and make sure the shadow color is set at 0, 0, 0. This one we want a more accentuated shadow, so that's why we make it at 0. Alright, stronger shadows itself. And the density will be at 1. Shadow lights would affect shadow color, and atmosphere shadows are on. And lastly, the shadow map parameters. The bias, we will set it to 0, and then the size will be at 1024 and 20 as well. So we will click two-sided shadows also. Now once this part is done here, this master copy of the lights will be ready. So what we're going to do is we are going to duplicate it across here, here, and here to form the downlights. Alright, so you will notice that we cannot just use the Ctrl+V command now and clone it, because when we do that and we start moving, the lights will be tilted at an angle here. This is because we have selected only the light source and we did not select the target. So we don't do this. Alright, so now we need to select not only the light itself, we will also need to select both the light, the downlight, as well as the target. So we hold the shift key by clicking on the target, so that will allow us to select both items here before we use the Ctrl+V key and clone this as an instance. Now before we do this, we need to make sure we change the name to 02. Okay, so BR for downlight 02 here, this way. Alright, and then we can then begin to move it away first, and then we would use these sets of coordinates down here to configure the light location as well as the light target location as well. Okay, so 513464. So we can now move this, right click by activating the move transform type in. Let's start with selecting the light source first. So we key in 513464. And then for the Y location, 3658, and then for the Z location will be the same at 3098, so don't need to change this. Next we will select the target. So again, this one we will change it to 513464, enter. And then this one, the Y location, we will change it to 3658 also. 3658, enter. You will find that now the lights, the clone that is being created will be straight, pointing straight down this way. Alright, let's right click on the camera view here and then go to rendering to do a render preview, just to make sure we are doing this correctly, like that. Okay, so again we're going to click on the clone rendered frame window to monitor the progress, okay, here. And we can minimize this and close this. And next, we're going to select BR4 downlight O2 and the target itself. And then we're going to make a clone by pressing Ctrl V and changing the name to BR4 downlight 03 and click OK. Alright, and then we will drag and move them near to this light location here. Alright, so in fact all we need to do is, there is no need to change the y-axis, we just need to make sure we get the x-axis location correct. That will do the job. Okay, so we're going to select the BR4 downlight 03 light source and then right click to call out the move transform type in and change the x values here, so to 515864, 515864 here, and then we can now select the target here and change it to 515864, enter, this way. So this third light will be in order now. And then we will select both the downlight and the target itself and press Ctrl V to clone an instance and rename this as BR downlight 04 and click OK. And with these two selected here, we will just use the move transform, just use the move command and then just drag it down. And then we will just select BR downlight 04, right click to call out the move transform type in, and this time round, because the X location is the same, no change, so we just need to pay our attention to the Y axis to key in the values correctly. So we're going to look for the Y values down here, which is 3658. So we're going to change this Y value here to 3658. Oh no, we need to change the values. We only need to change the values from here, 1103. So we will key in 1103 here, and then we will look for the BR downlight 04 target to 1103, enter, this way. So all the 4 downlights down here will be configured already. We can right click on the viewport again and do a test render by clicking on rendering and render to see if we are getting this correctly or not. So you can now see there will be all 4 downlights added to the overall scene down here already. Okay, like that. So that will set up the scene for the downlights. So we can close this and create a clone rendered frame window here, this way. So we can close this window and minimize this. Alright. Okay, next we are going to go ahead and create the BR4 study area downlight down here. Alright. Again, I'm going to try something different. Instead of using the create method here, we can actually, based on this table, create a clone. Alright. So what we're going to do is we can select both the BR4 downlight 01 and the target, and then we use the Ctrl V shortcut key. But instead of creating an instance, we are going to change it to create a copy. So creating a copy would allow us to make certain changes as a master copy that can be cloned later on. Alright, so I'm going to rename this one as BR4 study area downlight 01. So again, I'm going to add this one as study area. Okay, downlight 01 here, study area downlight 01 here, and click OK. And I'm going to drag it out of the scene first so that it is easier for us to locate it and then to move it to the correct location later on based on the notes here. So somewhere here will do. And by clicking on it, you see now we can now select both these areas. Alright, so these lights are here, study area downlight 01. Yeah, alright, and this, once we click on this, we can use the move command and right click to call out the transform type in here to key in the values. So the value is 517556. So I'll key in 517556, enter, and then the Y value would be 3173. So 3173 here, and then the height will be 2798. So down here 2798, enter. Next we will click on the target itself and to key in the values as well. So the value is 517566 here, 517566, enter, and then the Y values would be 3173, 3173 here, and then the Z value, we will just let it stay at -281, same as the rest of the lights down here. Okay, this one. So this will be a copy light. So again, we'll just go through and make sure we got the settings correct. First, we check the general parameters again to make sure we get everything correct. General parameters here, lights on, spot, target, shadows on. Okay, lights on, spot, target, shadows, shadow map here. Next will be the intensity color attenuation. So the multiplier will be 0.7. So we will collapse this and expand on this. Multiplier, we will change it to 0.7. And then the color code would be, let's click here to go into the color selector here. 255.224.171. 255.224.171. So this is correct. And next would be the decay set to none, no decay. And then we will use the far attenuation 1600 to 4000, 1600, 4000 here, like that. Alright, and then the spotlight parameters are generally the same here, so we will keep this. We will keep this as well for the advanced effects. And under the shadow parameters, let's check again. So the color code is 151515. So let's click on this now. The color code will be 151515. So it's a lighter shadow code here. So we will click OK. And density is at 1. Light affects shadow color, and then atmosphere shadow on. Then we can collapse this and expand the shadow map parameters. So make sure this one remains the same as well, 102420. Then OK. Alright, like this. This is what happens when it is done. Next, we will change the view by right clicking on the viewport, the camera viewport, and clicking on the wording here, cameras, and we will change it to 05 BR4 bit to study area down here. And then we will do a render to see whether the effect is correct or not, like that. Okay, and there you go. It looks similar to this now, this way. Next, we will then move on to create the spotlight for the wardrobe area here. Alright, so again, instead of using the creation method, we can either use the creation method or we can use the clone method. So again, I'm going to use the clone method by selecting BR4 study area downlight 01 and the target itself, and I'm going to key in Ctrl V to create a copy, and by doing this I'm going to rename this as BR4 wardrobe spot 1, BR4 wardrobe spot 01 here. Okay, and then I'm going to shift them using the move command to somewhere down here, somewhere down at this location here. Alright, and with this we can now select the BR4 wardrobe spot 1 here, and we can now key in the location here. Starting with the x-axis 512539. So I'll right click to call out the transform type in 512539, enter, and then the y-axis will be 2380, and then the z-axis will be 2798, so same 2798. Then after that I will click on the target to key in x-axis 512539, 512539, and then the y-axis would be 2380 here. So we would have gotten the wardrobe spotlight to be in the correct location now already, this way. So next we will select the light source itself and check the settings again one more time, this way, and to look under the general parameters, make sure the shadow is on here, and we look at the intensity color attenuation. You see, pay attention that the multiplier is now the value is at 1.5, so 1.5 here, and we click on the color selector to change the colors here. 255, 229, 127, 255, 229, 127 here, this way, and click enter. Again, no decay, and then the far attenuation is 1600 and 4000. So no decay, far attenuation at 1600, 4000 here, and we minimize this. Let's move on to the spotlight parameters. Spotlight parameters, this time round though, we want to pay attention to this part here. The hotspot and the beam is 30 and 90 degrees. So we will change this to 30 degrees and 90 degrees here. So the bigger the fall off beam and the hotspot beam means the wider the angle of the beams would be. Alright, so this one will directly affect the effect of the spotlight itself. Okay, and next everything would pretty much stay the same except for the shadow parameters again. So let's click on shadow parameters and check to see the shadow color will be 15, 15, 15 here. So same 15, 15, 15 and OK. And then the density is at 1 and light affects shadow color, atmosphere's shadow on. And then the shadow map parameters will be the same also this way. And once we are done with this, we can begin to clone the two remaining lights here. Alright, by again selecting the wardrobe spot 1 and wardrobe spot target and use the Ctrl V key. This time round, we are going to, because these lights are going to be the same, these two lights are going to be the same, we are just simply going to use instance here and rename it as 02. So 02 would be here, and we can begin to use the move command and shift them a little bit here. Alright, and then with this, we will refer to the table again down here for the spotlight 2 values down here. So these are basically the same. The X value will be the same, so we don't need to key in anything here. These will be the same anyway, so don't need to touch anything here. We just need to pay attention to the Y value at 3480. So again, we're just going to select the light source, right click to call out the move transform type in, and to key in 3480 here, and then key in here 3480, enter this way. And when done, we're going to select wardrobe spot 02 and the target and press Ctrl V to make another clone spot 03. And then we will move it roughly to the location, and then we will use the y-axis for this light here, spot 03, right? And then we will use this, and then we will select the light source first, select the light source and key in the value at 1280. So we'll key in at 1280, enter, and key it in here at 1280, enter, this way, like this. Okay, that will configure the lights down here for the wardrobes already and the study area. So let's take a look and see how the preview render will look like. Let's change the view to, let's click here at the viewport and change it to camera 01 BR4 pocket door to bed, and go to rendering and render. We will now find that there will be a little bit more details here that can be seen in the wardrobe, this glass wardrobe already, because of the light sources down here as well. That would help to illuminate these areas down here, this way, okay, like that. So we'll make a copy of this. We'll make a clone rendered frame window here before we work on the remaining lights down here, and close this and minimize this. Alright, and next we're going to make another clone of this wardrobe spot 03 here, and then we'll use the Ctrl V command and create a copy of the light. But we're going to before we click enter, we're going to rename it properly first. Alright, we're going to call it BR spot 01 here. So we'll just change it to BR spot 01 and click OK. And with this, we will just shift this one out of the way first, so that we know we are able to then select it, and we will be able to refer to the table and get it to the right location. So BR spot 01 is now here. Alright, so the table would be here. using these locations down here. Alright, I'm going to key in the X location 512964 first. Right click to call out the move transform type in. 512964, enter. And then we click on target. 512964, enter. This way. And then we'll look for the y-axis here, which is 3194. The y-axis value would be 3194, enter. And then we click on the spotlight again and key in 3194, enter. So it will end up being down here at this point. Alright. And again, we will select both the light source and the target. Before we make more clones of it, we need to make sure the settings are correct. Okay, once we get it to the right location. So what's going to happen is we will go to the modifier under the general parameters again to take a look, yeah, to make sure the light is on, spot, targeted, on, and shadow map. And under the intensity, color, and attenuation, we need to make sure the values are correct. This one at 1.2, so we will change it to 1.2, and then we will click on the color here to change the color at 255.229.127, 259.229.127. Okay, and then here we will make sure this is the same at no decay. Use the far attenuation at 1600, 4000. So again, no decay, none. Far attenuation, use 1600 and 4000 this way, like that. And the spotlight parameters, angles, are the same at 30, 90 degrees here. And then we will click. Alright, so the rest will pretty much be the same, except perhaps the shadow map parameters. The shadow map parameters are also the same as the previous setting here and all. Except one last one here, the shadow map params are different. Yeah? So this one, if you click under here, under the shadow map params, this part here, remember this sample range here? The sample range is no longer set at 20, but instead it is set at 5. Now it is set at 5 because we want a sharper shadow. So just remember this, the lower the value of the sample range, the sharper the shadow will then become. Alright, so having that little variation in the light settings itself creates a more interesting interior, because it will scatter it will create different shadows with different qualities itself, and with that it will make the space more much richer, and then it will be a little bit more livelier and all. Okay, so once this is done now, we can begin to clone and position the rest here. So what's going to happen is I will again do the rest. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and click on Ctrl V and clone it as an instance and BR spot 02 and OK. And by changing the Y value here, it will change the location downwards this way. Alright, down here. So again, the value is 1566. So I'm just going to drag this one down a little bit and right click to call out the move transform type in and select the light source first and change it to 1566, and then selecting the target as well at 1566, enter, this way. And with this, we will proceed to work on these remaining lights down here. Alright, I wouldn't go into that because by now you should be quite familiar with this whole table's setup and how to clone it and how to create the lights from here. So we'll just leave you to work on this part first for now. Alright, so I will again now select this and clone it as an instance and call it 03, enter, and just move it a little bit somewhere here, and right click to call out the move transform type in, and here. Alright, so the value is 513889, 513889 here, and then I will select the target 513889 here, and the Y value would be 665. So I'll just change it to 665 here, and change it to 665 here as well. And then when done, I will select these two again, and then Ctrl V to clone it and change it to 04. And from here, just move it to the right a little bit. And you refer to the table here to get the correct value of the location of the light here. So 04 will be 515439. So I'll just change it to 515439. Enter. And then I will select the target also, 515439. Enter. This way, like that. And then when done, I will select these two, spotlight 04 and target, and we can begin to clone as an instance again. Change this one to 05, spot 05 here, and OK. And we can begin to move it close to the location here and refer to the spotlight 05 coordinates here, 516364. So I will now select the spot 05, 516364. So I'll key in 516364, enter, and then the Y location here, 1566 here, and then we will select the target here at 516364, and then the target would be 1566, enter here. Alright, so we can now select the spot and the target as well, and from here we would clone again by keying in Ctrl V and changing the name to VR spot 06 and OK, and to move it up here. And because the location is the same, we will just need to be changing the Y values here. So again, I'll select the spot 06 light source and refer to the table here at 063194 for the Y values here. So I'll just key it in at 3194, enter, and select the target also at 3194, enter, this way. And then after this is done, we can then select both the spotlight 06 and then the target itself, and then key in Ctrl V to clone an instance and rename it as 07, OK, and then move it here somewhere. Alright, and with this I'll just click on BR spot 7, the light source itself, and to key in the coordinates. BR spot 7, 515439. So 515439 here, and then the Y location would be 4158. So 4158 here. Then we will select the target now and change it again. Select the target would be 515439. So the X location will be 515439 here, and the target will be 4158. So 4158 here, like that. And then finally, when we're done, we will select both the spot and the target and key in Ctrl V to clone it again and to move it here, close to the location, and select the BR08. Okay, we got to rename this one 08 to, we will just need to correct the X-axis location, so 513889. So we just key in here 513889, enter, and then look for the target also, 513889, enter this way. So we're all set. Now if you notice, once we are done with all the light settings, the scene can become quite complicated by now. So we got to know the method of how to manage the lights properly by hiding and unhiding them, so that it doesn't look so confusing to the point that we really cannot control the scene anymore. Alright, or we cannot manage the scene anymore this way. So let's take a look at the render preview again. So we're going to right click on the camera viewport and go to rendering and render again one more time. Okay, as you can see now, and we compare it to the previous render, you can now see that with the addition of more light sources down here, we will be able to, in a way, create more interesting effects compared to a very plain emulsion painted wall surface down here. If you look at this here, this part here is really quite dull and uninteresting to look at if the light is so evenly spread across and all, compared to when with the addition of more spotlights within the areas here, we begin to see a lot more illumination down here, and we begin to see very subtle shadow information that will bring out the thickness of the mirrored surface here as well, and also more interesting double shadow thickness here compared to a dull gray shadow down here as well. Alright, so this is how important lighting can be, and how with the use or the effective use of lighting and its configuration can make a very minimal room, okay, a room with minimal objects inside, a lot more interesting to look at here. Okay, let's take a look at another view, another camera view, all right, from here. Yeah, so I can remove this now and do a clone rendered frame window here while we close this, and then we're going to change this view from, okay, under cameras here, we're going to change it to O2 BR4 study area to wardrobe, this one, and then we do another rendering rendered view, another render preview of it. Again, we can now see a lot more details here that can be brought out. So this would have been quite uninteresting if there are no lights to illustrate this, and the bump surfaces for the mapping will not be brought out if there is no light source here as well. Okay, so let's take a look at the if you can see right now, it resembles very closely to the image in the tutorial here.